what's in my camera bag for 2021. Welcome to What's in My Camera Bag 2021. I'm going to go through this video in sections. Those sections I have courteously time-coded down in the description below. Feel free to check those out and skip through to the parts that you find most interesting, or sit back, relax, watch the entire video. I also have all the links to all the equipment I use down in the description there as well. So let's get into the video. Alright, so the camera I am currently using is the Sony a7 III, which is part of Sony's mirrorless camera lineup. The reason for me choosing this camera is the ability to be able to shoot 4K, shoot slow-mo at 120 frames per second, its capabilities of shooting both photo and video, and lastly, the great autofocus and ability to use picture profiles like S-Log2 and HLG. However, in saying this, I did just pre-order from Sony the new a7S III, which is essentially the roided up version of the a7 III. So I'm very excited to do that, and I assume I'll be doing a review on that camera too. Next up, let's move on to my lenses. I usually only use one lens when I'm shooting. It's the Sony 24 to 70mm f2.8, and it's in their G Master range. The reason for this is A, Sony lenses tend to be very expensive, as we all know, and secondly, I opted to get a camera that has a great zoom range from 24 at a wide angle all the way to 50 and then to 70mm if I need, and the focal length of also 2.8 allows me to shoot most types of content that I need. Let's move on to my cage. Next is my cage. This is a small rig cage specifically designed to fit the a7 III. It also comes with a pistol grip handle, which I really find helpful when shooting handheld or a lot of fitness videos. I've also left on a quick release plate at the bottom so I can quickly take this off whether I'm shooting on a tripod or other things like that as well, which is a super handy thing to speed up the efficiency of a shoot. Next, let's move on to monitors. Okay, so the monitor I use is just a cheap monitor from Amazon. It literally cost me like $200 or something like that, but its ability to show in 4K, and it allows me just a bit of a bigger screen to get my framing and see what the shot looks like without forking all that money out. But if you do have a bit of extra money, I do highly recommend Small HD's monitor. They are a lot more expensive, but they are definitely worth it. So if you've got the extra money, highly recommend that. Again, links in the description below. Next, let's move on to microphones. So I only use two types of microphones when I shoot in video. The first one is a shotgun mic, which is the Rode Video Mic Go. It produces great quality sound and doesn't require any batteries, as it uses the camera battery to power itself, which is great for people who are just starting out. And the best part is, it's only $100. Now, if you can't tell already, I'm a huge fan of Rode. Their microphones are great quality and all their products that they offer, but they're also an Australian brand, which is another thing I love about them, which also brings me on to the next microphone I have, which is the Rode Wireless Go. So I've got the Wireless Go in both black and white. Now these are lavalier microphones that operate wirelessly, but I got the black and white depending on, these are more based for an interview setup. So depending on the clothing of the person I'm interviewing will depend on the color of microphone I use. But like I said, there are some really great advantages of this. A, they are wireless. You can go up to 200 meters in line of sight away from the camera and still have perfectly crisp audio that catches straight into your microphone jack on the camera. And lastly, the other really good thing I like about it is it allows you as the camera operator to be a lot more mobile. You could have your subject and the camera on a gimbal moving within the same frame, and it allows you both to move and keep away from each other without having those weird wires that you'd often need with a traditional microphone setup. Now, these are super cool technology and I absolutely love these. However, at the time of recording this video, Rode have just announced the new Wireless Go Mics 2, which is even better again in every way possible, in quality, in range, in everything like that, and I highly recommend them. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably upgrade at some stage too, because they do look pretty cool. Let's move on to the accessories. In my camera bag, I carry a lot of accessories, which I almost find are the most important parts of the camera bag. I carry a lot of cleaning gear, as I often shoot a lot of construction, real estate, fitness videos. You can imagine that the lens and camera have the ability to get quite dirty. In my opinion, these are one of the most important things I carry in my camera bag. I use them before and after every shoot, and in between if I need to. They're super cheap, they're like 16 bucks, and I guarantee they're an absolute lifesaver. I also carry a variable ND. Now, a lot of the time I'm shooting videos in either an S-Log2 or HLG profile, which means the minimum ISO my camera can go to is 800, which then causes the video to get extremely overexposed, especially when shooting outdoors or in a high, bright, light environment situation. So, to combat this, we carry a variable ND. A variable ND is essentially like sunglasses for your camera. It essentially cuts that bright light down so you can still shoot at the focal lengths and the ranges you need. Now, the one I use is from Go. These aren't the best company in the world. They're not, the worst company in the world. They're sort of like middle of the road. I have noticed too, when you pull the variable ND to its extremes, it does have a little bit of vignetting that occurs, but hey, it was like 80 bucks or something like that. If you do have the money, there are more expensive ones like the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro variable NDs, which roughly cost about $300. So it's a worthy investment though, if you can afford the money. Lastly, I also carry my gimbal with me most of the time. I'm talking 95% of the time, I'll have my gimbal with my bag. So I shoot on the DJI Ronin S. This allows me to get really stable and steady shots that I often use for real estate or at times when it's right for other client videos as well and fitness videos. To finish, I also carry a bunch of lighting gear with me in addition to like my tripod and other small things like that. I'm sure I'll talk about these in another video. I can comfortably say that no matter what gear I've had, it's allowed me to develop my skills either way, and it's made me a better filmmaker and a better storyteller at the end of the day. It's allowed me to develop my style and get a gauge for what actual gear I do need, and I'm not just spending it on pointless shit. So there you have it. That is my camera bag for 2021. I'm very curious to see how much it changes in 2022, but for now, that's what it is, and hopefully I'm always looking to improve. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram. You get to see all the behind the scenes of different shoots I do over there. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel as I plan to be uploading a lot more. And until next time, stay golden.
Got no limits, I got no fears. Only got my blood, my sweat.